Hey guys, welcome to the Superhero Post Show. It is your host, Stephen Heyman, and today I wanted to talk to you guys about Superman. Let's roll it. Today I am going to be talking about why I think Superman is doomed for the DCEU. But to get to the doomness, we got to first start with some history. So we're going to start from the beginning. So before we get into the video, please hit the like and subscribe button to support the content of this channel. If you like it, like and subscribe, as I say, and leave a comment, and also comment some more video ideas for me to do. So obviously, if we're starting with Superman, we got to start with the very first Superman, Christopher Reeves, the OG. He actually did 4 Superman movie installments. He did Superman the movie in 1978, Superman 2 in 1980, Superman 3 in 1983, and obviously Superman 4, which is probably my favorite, The Quest for Peace, which is in 1987. Now, some good things and some bad things about the Christopher Reeve era. Now, I do think out of all of the Superman adaptations done in movies and TV shows, actually, I don't even know about TV shows because Superman and Lois is a really good show, and their dynamic is actually really tough. And Smallville has a really good Clark Kent and Lois Lane adaptation. But out of the movies, this is definitely the best Lois Lane and Clark Kent relationship. It was the most natural and pure relationship that I have seen in the cinematic history of Clark Kent and Lois Lane. And as I said, in my opinion, I probably will go with Smallville being the best dynamic. But in movies, the Christopher Reeve Superman and Lois Lane, the best chemistry ever. Obviously, the iconic score that will be forever remembered. To be honest, Superman 1, I mean, the Christopher Reeve Superman movies probably has the best superhero score of all time. I mean, other than the Batman, maybe the Batman score, like the original Batman score, I will put a clip in so y'all can hear that score. But yeah. I mean, Superman probably has the greatest score of all time. I mean, the score is amazing. And for me, I mean, this is one of my favorite suits. Obviously, I'm a costume guy. And it was just like, he wasn't the huskiest guy or anything like that, but the suit to me is just iconic, and it just stays it will stay in my heart forever. I think the biggest positive that runs this now, that is 2021, is obviously the nostalgia, but those are some positive. Now, some negatives, and obviously we got to be kind of graceful because of its time, but it was very, very cheesy, but that's what should be expected from a movie done in the freaking 1980s, late 1970s to the 1980s. To me, it just felt like there wasn't a lot of character growth, to be honest. It just felt like Superman was the same, even when he told Lois he's Superman. I mean, there wasn't just a lot of character growth, in my opinion. I mean, and then nothing else really was bad. I mean, it was just, obviously, it was just delayed by the technology of its time, and I mean, Superman Quest for Peace, I mean, I liked it, but I don't know why I even like it, but for some reason I love it. But if I'm looking at it from an objective standpoint, it actually is a really terrible movie. And Nuclear Man was a terrible portrayal. He was literally a joke. And one thing that I do have a pet peeve with, though, is that I wish that there were more suit developments. I wish it just wasn't the same suit. I would have loved to see kind of a progression in costumes, but all in all, Christopher Reeves, to a lot of people, is still the greatest Superman ever. I don't think that. I think that people do that out of nostalgia, just how people think that Tobey Maguire is the greatest Spider-Man, but he's not. Is obviously Tom Holland. It's kind of like that. He's kind of looked at as, the goat of everything, which, I can obviously respect, but personally, I mean, we all know the truth of that. Now, let's get into Superman Returns. So, Superman Returns, funny story, actually, I want to tell this, I remember seeing this movie when I was I had to be 5th or 6th grade. And the funny thing is that this was back in the day when my parents, we will pop like popcorn bags at home and then bring them in, sneak them in my mom's bag into the theater. And it's funny because now, I always buy popcorn and I don't even finish it. But anyways, so Superman Returns. So after a while of no Superman movies, obviously in between we got some animated stuff. We got Smallville, we got Lois and Clark, some other shows. But we finally ended up getting kind of a final installment to the Christopher Reeve Superman series, which is Superman Returns. And if you don't know, Superman was played by Brandon Ruth. He was also in Legends of Tomorrow. He also plays a big role in the Arrowverse as the Atom. If you don't know, I think he's a really good actor. And we actually did get to see him come back as Kingdom Come Superman in Crisis on Infinite Earths, which was awesome. The suit was dope, and I'll pray that we can at least see that again. We have some type of universal war in the DCEU. But anyways, so I only have one positive from this. I mean, the only really positive I have is some great nostalgia scenes, and obviously the action. But the action is a given. It's the time is different. It's not the 1980s. So obviously the graphics are going to be kind of cool. But I do have some negatives, man. The suit was terrible. I did not like the maroon cape. Was not a big fan of that. It was just so bland, and it was just it was corny. It was whack. It was just a really whack suit. I wasn't a big fan of it. I remember having a costume of it. I didn't really like that either. As I said, I was not a fan of the maroon color. I even think that the Lois Lane and Superman's son plot was horrible and very confusing, because it was if homie was going all this time, okay, I don't know, it was just so confusing to me, because obviously the kid was his son, but it just left so many plot holes and so many empty parts that I was genuinely confused with the movie. What the heck is going on here? I don't know, it was just super weird, and it was super unnatural how it happened. Even in the end, it's not like Superman took him in as his son and loved on him. It was just super awkward, and it was terrible. Brandon Ruth as an actor was very flat in the movie. I hope I'm saying his last name right, but he was very flat. Just it felt like he never really talked much. He was just whack. I mean, I think the main issue was he was trying to emulate Christopher Reeves instead of being his own Superman, which I get. It's the continuation of the other movies, but still, at the end of the day, it's just you got to put your own spin onto the character, and it just felt like he wasn't. And when you try to live in the shadow of someone else, when you were doing a rendition or when you are carrying the mantle of someone's character, I just don't think it doesn't work. I mean, that's why I think Daniel Craig's James Bond works so well, because he's not like the older actors who played James Bond. He is his own. He has created his own James Bond. Even Christian Bale, as much as I am not the biggest Bale Batman fan, he's very different from Michael Keaton's Batman. Just very, very different, types of actors. And I kind of blame the director for this, for trying to have him emulate Christopher Reeve, which I think was not a good look for the brand or for this movie. And I think that is a big piece to why this movie was not successful. Plus, it was a lot of plot holes. When you make a movie with a space this wide of content and movies that we never got to see, and you just assume that fans will know what's going on, I think that's a big issue. That's why the MCU is so successful, because they keep fans going with what's going on. And to be honest, if I was to make Superman Returns, I would have had Kingdom Come Superman just come in. I would have maybe started from there. I don't know. I would have maybe even just I would have maybe even just ended the Christopher Reeve series with Christopher Reeves, and then did a whole new rendition of Superman. Maybe would they casted Brandon Ruth? I'm not sure. But the good thing about it is this movie is universally forgotten about, so it's nothing too crazy, I guess you could say. So it's pretty chill. Now we go to Man of Steel. Okay, now this is my favorite Superman movie in this whole Superman group of movies. I'm a big Henry Cavill fan, and I believe this man is of a RDJ, aka Robert Downey Jr., and of a Chris Evans caliber. And let's not mention, fans also love Henry Cavill. As much as fans hate on him, he is a very loved actor, and he was very much loved Superman, and he got done dirty. But let's go to some positives. Let's keep it going. I do have some positives and negatives from the Man of Steel. So some positives that the visuals were awesome. Let's talk about Krypton. I love the deep dive into Krypton, showing how dope it is. The technology seemed like it was very next level, and Jor-El himself, just as a having Russell Crowe play as Jor-El was also awesome to see, and the fight scene, Zod. I mean, it was amazing. I like probably my favorite part of that movie might be Krypton, other than the final battle, obviously, and other stuff. But yeah, that's one of my favorite depictions of Krypton ever, other than the animated stuff. I do think that Jor-El was portrayed better as an activist for the health of Krypton instead of some evil. I'm not evil, but instead of some like tyrant who was just going against what the planet was saying, seeming like he was crazy. I mean, like, you could tell in his heart through Russell Crowe's acting that he actually cared for the health of Krypton, and it was actually really beautiful to see. Another thing that I loved was the fighting itself. I mean, the punching so hard that they're flying across cities. It was beautiful to see. The flying is amazing. When Superman flies up, you see like a little like a ball of wind form under him. Then he flies even faster. That's pretty awesome too. And also, I mean, this movie I think is the perfect tone setter for the DCEU. I think they had a really good intro, into what the DC should have been. It shows perfectly how the power levels are from Superman compared to a regular human being. It was very interesting on how Zack Snyder displayed that. And I mean, Michael Shannon was amazing as Zod. He was also in Knives Out, which I love too. And in my opinion, other than Avengers Endgame and maybe Infinity War, this is a top 5, one of the greatest end fight scenes ever, hands down. One of the greatest fight scenes I've ever seen in my life. And I remember by the end of the movie, I was like going crazy. I mean, this movie was amazing. Now, let's get into some negatives. Now, there are some negatives here. I do think that Lois Lane was weak in this movie. I'm not the biggest. I like Amy Adams, Amy Adams, or whatever her name is, but I am not the biggest fan of her Lois Lane. It's kind of bland to me. Superman killed Zod, which is probably the biggest problem to me, because Superman not killing is his number one rule, and the fact that he snapped Zod's neck when he's shooting laser beams could have maybe put his hands over his eyes or flew him away. It just seems so idiotic to me that he, out of all the things, you think that he has no other way. Zack Snyder, thank you. You always want people to die, which I understand. Whatever, just leave it out of the DCEU, bro. Same way you had your freaking killer machine car in BVS. Lois Lane, to knowing Superman's identity was too early for me. The whole struggle of, Superman has like the Spider-Man complex too. Like, for a while it was like, to protect the people I love, I need to hide my identity. I need to hide who I am. And I just feel like Lois Lane knowing was kind of corny to me so early. I feel like their chemistry was also awkward, even their romantic scenes. And I think Henry Cavill himself was kind of weirded out by Amy Adams, because I mean, if you look at some interview videos when you talk about how handsome he is, that man literally looks very uncomfortable.
Having to work with Henry every day.
It's just so awful. It's just too bad about his face, right? He's such a nice guy, and then, I kind of feel bad because in all of the press, it's like obvious, so people are constantly asking the question, and then I'm like, Henry's gonna take out a restraining order on me if I keep talking about how cute he is and like giggling in his presence. But I challenge anyone to stare in his eyes for 5 seconds and not giggle. So, yeah.
And I feel like he was uncomfortable in general. And I just think Lois Lane took too big of a back seat as well. I think one of the reasons why she was so weak is because she took such a back seat. I mean, there were also obviously some good Lois Lane scenes, but all in all, I think she really took a back seat. And it wasn't really Lois and Clark. It was really just Clark, and Lois just follows behind him like a fan, which was kind of corny to me, because like that's one of the reasons why Superman is attracted to Lois Lane, because she's not like a fangirl. She's legit like a real one who cares about him. You know what I'm saying? And like she's hard to read at times. It's like, does she like me? Does she not? Like, you know what I mean? That and that's the chemistry that I kind of wanted to get there, that we saw in the original Christopher Reeve Superman, where Lois Lane was a savage, unreadable, never knew what she was going to do, bold, which they show some boldness, but wasn't too the chemistry was just off. Now we go to BVS. Now this movie is very much hated, arguably probably the most hated superhero movie ever. This whole movie is just unorganized, and people don't understand the whole point of this movie. I want to explain real fast. The whole point of this movie is, at least from my understanding, if I'm wrong, correct me in the comments. I believe that this movie is about Batman being angry at Superman, basically because he knows nothing about damage control. And because in the Superman 1, buildings were collapsing, kids were dying, people were dying, there were so many casualties, and that's what pissed off Batman from the start to start this whole beef, which I don't think is a valid reason to beef with somebody, because what the heck, but whatever. Now let's get into some pros before I get into the negativity of this movie. Some of the pros is obviously this is like one of the first superhero face-offs. Obviously, we got the one a better one, maybe how it should have been done in Civil War with Iron Man and Cap. But this was the first big superhero face-off, and this movie was hyped up mad a lot. We got a Wonder Woman reveal. We got the Justice League hints with Aquaman and the Flash and Cyborg. The hype was dope, and this was the setup for the DCEU, like the whole, like the extended universe. Awesome. Okay, now, before I go into my cons, right, I'm going to say this as a positive, right? Without this movie, we would have never gotten Wonder Woman and Aquaman. So that's my main positive for this movie. Now let's get to the negatives, okay? The hype was the biggest con. This movie was so overhyped, and a lot of fans were very much so disappointed. Zack Snyder gave us so many gems, but it was just not done the way fans thought it would have been done. The fans were very pissed off about that. The plot itself is everywhere. As I said, a lot of people got confused and didn't understand why Batman was angry, and I think that's the main issue, because I mean, essentially Batman and Superman fought for no reason, to be honest. I mean, like, it was basically just like Batman shines up a sign for, like, it was just, they couldn't just sat down and talked it out. Superman's being a total, like, just rude D-bag the whole time. Like, when Batman crashes into when he crashed into Batman's Batmobile, like, what was that for? Like, when they shine light in the sky, don't go to it. Like, Superman in the Superman that I know and the Batman that I know, with their interactions, is usually Superman's the nice guy and Batman's the rude one. Now it's just like they're both being mean to each other. It's just corny to me. And it's not like Bruce Wayne was falling in love with, like, Lois Lane or trying to bag her. Like, none of that happened. They were just being just rude to each other for no apparent reason. Like, that's not Superman's character, in my opinion. As I said, Zack Snyder was the main problem. He just got too full of himself in general. The portrayal was whack. It was too rushed. And to be honest, guys, the movie was so serious, it got confusing. Okay, so that's how I feel about BVS. I said that there are a lot of issues. Most hated movie ever. Now, if we go to Justice League, right? Now, if we go to Justice League, I mean, obviously the main problem with Superman was the mustache, the moustache. That was insane. I'm shocked that an editing company even allowed that to even enter a room. But whatever. When you could have just deep faked his face like they do in Star Wars. But you know, you couldn't feel any type of sadness for Superman, because when he died in BVS, it was just, there was no relationship built up like when we cried when Tony Stark died after 11 years of hard work and tears and loving this movies. He died and we cried. There was no relationship, and he was the only good part of the movie in Justice League. And then obviously we got the Snyder Cut, which is obviously the redemption of Superman, which I love. So I mean, so this is basically the timeline of Superman. This is all the movies that he's done so far. But let's get into why I think it's doomed. This is the reason why. The lack of consistency of good content, the rash decisions with one of the world's most popular superheroes and characters in human history. They don't treat him with enough tender love and care. I mean, and now we're in talks to get a different version of Superman named Val Zod. I mean, I personally think this is a terrible idea, because I mean, I think it is too early. The story of Clark Kent is far from finished, and DC is yet again rushing everything. Okay, we have yet to get a Man of Steel 2 or see any growth of the character from after he has the black suit. We got a Snyder Cut, which, as I said, was a great comeback from BVS, but Zack's plans after the Snyder Cut was not it, because we all know Zack was planning on Bruce Wayne to get Lois Lane pregnant, etc., etc. Dumb plot that we don't need. I just think Superman is really doomed because of the lack, as I said, of tender love and care. They treat him like it's like like a TV show. Like, all right, Henry, you're done. Even though people like you, we're not going to bring you back. After the Snyder Cut raved about you for freaking hours and weeks and months, we're still not going to say anything. Like, it's just like, I think the issue is that DC is not listening to their fans. That's just how it seems to me. And, you know, as I said, Henry Cavill's character, Clark Kent, this version in DCU is not finished. So the fact that didn't happen is going to lead to a lot of negativity. See, if we got a new Iron Man, and obviously I think right now it wouldn't be the best, because I think Iron Man is cursed forever because of Robert Downey Jr. The same way I feel like Cap is cursed forever. That's why I think a lot of Anthony Mackie fans, a lot of Captain America fans aren't liking Anthony Mackie, because they're measuring him up to Chris Evans, Steve Rogers, who they're unicorns, you know? Whoever is casted, it could be Michael B. Jordan. I just don't think that Michael B. Jordan might be the only pass to actually get good feedback, but I don't see any other actor, Superman, getting the love that Henry Cavill has received. Even though he got a lot of hate, wasn't his fault though. He's a great actor. If you've seen The Witcher, you know he brings it. But I do think that with having a Val Zod, it's just not going to work, and fans are going to hate it because Henry Cavill's character is not finished. So that's why I think Superman is doomed. I hope that this timeline has helped you, and I hope you see through this timeline that I've kind of written myself and created. You see the lack of consistency that this has had. I mean, there has been a lot of negatives, you know, definitely after, like, from Superman Returns on, and it just seems like it's so hard for them to perfect this character when this should be the easiest character to perfect. So thank you guys for watching and listening. I know this is a longer video, but I did really want to explain this to you guys. Now, on my Patreon, I do have daily news videos. This is more of like, you know, theories and stuff like that, but I do have weekly news videos, weekly news like audios and videos as well. So if you want to subscribe to get extra content, it's pretty cheap. Check it out. And again, as I said, please hit that like button and subscribe to support the page so we can get more content out to you guys. Thank you so much. Leave something in the comments below. Deuces. Have a nice day.